Y'all? It's your girl Rhonda.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel.
Hey y'all, I'm back. It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel.
What's up, y'all? It's me, Rhonda.
What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda, and I'm back to talk about Ready to Love.
Who is your favorite artist? Like, who would you say I don't want to say influence, but I think, we all influenced by things that we like.
Can I say two?
Yeah.
So Drake and J. Cole probably influenced me the most.
Okay, I asked the question, so I gotta accept the
Okay,
answer.
okay.
What's the first three songs on your playlist?
Back Outside Boys by Drake.
Not Drake. I don't think you like it.
I do.
I can't tell.
What te- no tequila is like sweet. You know what I mean? You just gotta man up. Feel
I
me?
don't drink tequila and I don't man up. Hey y'all, it's just Rhonda. We just here. We back again to talk about Love and Marriage, Huntsville, season 8, episode 11. I don't know what to call this episode. It feels like I haven't seen y'all for a long time. I miss y'all. I haven't been here to talk to y'all for a minute. Ain't shit on the TV right now. Have to make shit up. I think I'm gonna go ahead and review Orange County because it was pretty good. Yeah, so like the video, subscribe to my channel. Let's get into Huntsville. There was an interesting episode. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way. Let's give Marcel the VIP award for opening his mouth. Right message, wrong messenger sometimes, but it's okay as long as the message get out. I don't even like 2025. We got enough bullshit to deal with that we don't care who the messenger is necessarily. Let's focus on the message. This show starts with the Fletchers. They still at their house discussing therapy. Everybody except Nell. Nell is discussing her money, her finances, and I feel like there's two different conversations being had here, and it's given a little bit gaslighting just because generally when there's two different conversations happening at the same time, one of those sides is trying to deflect from what the real issue is. And I'm gonna go ahead and call it these kids is on some bullshit. We'll get into that a little bit later because what are we gonna do? We're gonna meet Martez, and we've been waiting to meet Martez. I don't know what I thought I was gonna get, but it wasn't this child. Martez, I asked. Another M, imagine that. What does Love in Huntsville do? They bring us names of people with M's. Marcel, Maurice, Martel, Mel, Melanie, Marquez, Tisha, Tisha. Jeez, oh Pete. Anyway. So Martez used to work for Marcel over around to the movie theater back in the day, apparently. That's how they know each other. So he came over there because, he's in town from Atlanta visiting around and things. And he was over here last time he was at Black having some type of altercation with Ken on the parking lot. He came to apologize for that, as if he was over here we're having an altercation. Is that what it was? Marcel was like, oh, was that you? I heard about that. I didn't know it was you, but okay. Can I get you something to drink? That's where we're gonna start. Can I get you something to drink? And Mark, what's this nigga? See, here we go. Here we go. Marquez. Y'all fancy. I'll have an old fashioned. Marcel's like, no, you won't. Do I look like your local neighborhood bartender? What you gonna do is get something straight or on the rocks. That's what we doing over here. No Coke, Pepsi. That's what it was giving.
Eggs, couple of eggs. Eggs, you speak English? Eggs, couple of eggs. And over lightly with sausage. Cafe? Cafe? No eggs. Cheeseburger.
So like I said, Marquez is over here trying to apologize for whatever had happened between him and Ken down to the cookout over at homecoming or whatever reason he decided he wanted to come back through Huntsville. They start discussing this whole situation with, Ken and him and Tish, because Marcel's like, so what was you over there fighting Ken for? Well, Ken is like currently with my ex-wife. Oh, your ex-wife? because she's not your ex-wife. She's your actual wife. Y'all have become very comfortable calling each other ex until it's like, not convenient to be an ex, Marquez. Sometimes you be an ex and sometimes you want to remind people that y'all still married. Are you separated legally? Yeah, but we're not legally divorced. I mean, I guess when you abandon your home and you don't come back through no more, then I guess that's legally all you got to do to be legally separated. Abandon your family. It's legally done. He's explaining to Marcel, because Marcel's like, tell me what happened over here? What was y'all? You legally separated, and then what happened? Well, I guess, after Tisha's parents and her sister died, and then, I just wasn't emotionally available. Like I was physically there, but emotionally, I wasn't available to her because, I don't have empathy. I did not realize that because I've never had somebody die in my family. And I'm like, y'all sure will come up with an excuse, won't you? You're going to excuse your bad behavior because you just discovered, during this whole process, I realized and discovered that I do not have empathy. It's not something I possess. Well, ain't nobody empathizing and sympathizing with your dumb ass either, Marquez. Now, you said you was not having empathy, but I remember Tish said you was too busy worrying about other people and their problems. Whose people were those, Marquez? Whose people were you over here not necessarily empathizing with, but you was concerned and worried about other folks' problems outside of, can you imagine? I cannot. I have lost my mother. I have lost my sister. There was like years in between, 11 years in between. And I feel like I'm still healing, especially for my sister. It's only been 2 years. So I can't imagine mourning the loss of someone back to back like that at a young age. Like she's just in her 30s. She didn't have her mother and poor father to carry her through, a pretty, huge part of her adulthood. We raising children and marriages and things like that. So, while she was over here trying to mourn the loss of her family members, he was over here, I don't know what he was doing, not empathizing and understanding. So he dismissed himself from the situation. Marcel was like, well, did you love her? He was like, oh yeah, always, I loved her. I mean, I loved her, but I wasn't in love with her. And I want y'all to stop saying that dumb shit. What does that even mean? Y'all make up some shit, won't you? I was love her, but I was not in love with her. I hear that all the time. Can the person who can define and explain the ridiculousness that is that phrase, I love you, but I'm not in love with you? Stop. That's fuckboy terminology as far as I'm concerned. He said 2020 happened, the big C happened. Now, this man communicates about as confusing as Trisha. You're going to need a translator, a dictionary, and a calculator to understand what these two people are talking about. And I can't tell if you're naive or oblivious or, a super genius to be able to communicate with these people. I mean, clearly you and Marquez ain't over here communicating because he's, somewhere realizing shit. He said after COVID, he was realizing that he didn't want to be in that situation no more. They got married when they were 18. They were very young. He probably did it, because it was the right thing to do. But at this point, after the big C in 2020, now he just decided and realized that this ain't what he really wants. What he wants is to go over there in Dotland, where the Peaches reside. I don't know how much money you make down to the movie theater, Marquez, but I feel like, based on, my personal experience living in the A, I don't know how much peach juice you're getting with a movie theater paycheck. They be over there recruiting Africans to come finance their Rolls Royces and things. So, he said they had some unresolved issues and they did not get counseling, which they should have. And so he moved to Atlanta because he couldn't really deal with the situation that is kin. And I was like, what? Well, was it because you was realizing that you didn't want to be in a situation? What he said was he could not handle seeing Ken be around his kids. Ken was over there taking them to school. He was taking his son to football practice and homecoming and things, taking his daughter to dances. Then he didn't like it, so he moved away. And I was like, well, what was you doing? Where was you at when this man came along? Ken with the muscles. He's very bothered by Ken's muscles. His muscles and his chocolateness is a whole problem for Marquez over here. I want to know why you, if you were still in Huntsville, because your story be flipping and flopping and flopping and flipping. And Marcel was wearing your ass out for sounding stupid. See, this is the thing. I feel like Marquez came over here and he thought he was finna get movie theater Marcel, and what he got was a love and marriage Huntsville reality TV Marcel, who knows very well if he wears your ass out for this situation, that everybody's gonna be like, oh, Marcel, you just did it. You did it, boy. You did the thing, to your own benefit. I'm not lost on that. I don't care. Like I said, we are no longer like taking it up. Ain't no wrong messenger. We just gonna receive the message. And the message is you don't make no damn sense, Marquez. Ciao. So Marquez believes and down and deep in his heart that Trish was over here erasing the first 6 years that he contributed to his children's life, his daughter's life. Because I'm thinking if the girl's 10 and the boy's old enough to drive, then how old was he when you decided to bounce? 12? That's interesting. That's interesting. Your boy in high school with things and you just decided to leave. He said because he left the situation, Trisha's over here erasing all the memories from his daughter's head. And I don't know how she was able to do that, but according to him, that's what she was over there doing. And she said, now he had the audacity to sit up at this bar drinking whatever. What, Marcel, what you put in that cocktail? Because this fool sat up here and said he thinks that Trish still loves him and that Ken is a rebound. And I was like, what part, where does she still love you at? Where did you get that from? Trish, I don't believe nothing about that. I don't believe that. Like, I believe Trish be sneakily doing things. What's up, Martell? Round to his house, although she said she wasn't, but I know that she was. What they say, a lie don't care who tell it. And a liar don't even remember their lies, apparently. Anyway, we're not talking about her. We're talking about him. Now, here's where you're going to need to pull out your calculator, because between everybody on this show and their timelines and their calendars are full of shit. I wrote it down on the paper. It's on my notes, and I still don't understand what he's talking about. Now, he feels like that Ken was over here at the gym flexing his muscles, waiting on an opportunity. And Trish was over here mourning the loss of 3 family members. So I don't know how she found her way to the gym, but I do know walking and working out and all of that endorphins and things that are released into your body is a healthy thing, and so I can see why she went in. And he probably was because, apparently the problems happened over to the IG, and the IG is usually the cause of most people's problems these days. Back in the day it was the hello Barbara, this is Shirley. Now you can just go on Instagram and be like, well, what's she doing over here? Who is that hand over there on the coffee table? That looked like my man's hand. Zoom in on that shit. See, that's how it works nowadays. So he was over here on the IG causing problems. This Ken was, because Trish was over there, and Trish is little. So I'm gonna guess she probably used to be kind of like petite and skinny-ish. And all of a sudden, like, she was over at the gym and the thighs and the ass started doing whatever it's doing now. And he was like, hold on a second. What is she doing over there at the gym with the chocolate man that's sending heart emojis to her IG? It was bothersome. Now, I don't know. Like, you said you were unavailable. Isn't that what you said? Let me check on my notes. let me see what the paper say. The paper says this man said he was emotionally unavailable. He was physically present, but emotionally unavailable. And so she was over there, finding somebody to listen to her. She was over at the gym saying stuff like how she was mourning the loss of her family and she just didn't have anyone to talk to. And I'm not making fun of her situation. I'm just saying that's how she be communicating. And she went over to Ken and was like, "Can you help me like lift this thing?" And he was like, "I can help get you in shape, girl. This is what I do." She be for real. And so that's how love bloomed over there at the Planet Fitness or wherever they be working out in Huntsville. Now, he said that Ken was flirting with Trish. Trisha. So Ken was flirting with Trisha 3 years prior to him leaving, which was after 2020, right? After the whole, 3 years prior. Well, we had 24, so 4 years-ish. That's when he had started flooding. It had to be after because everything was closed. So I don't know whenever they stuff opened over there, the gyms. I feel like the gyms were like the last thing on the list. So we gonna say 21. 21, that was 3 years ago. Okay. They was over there, flirting prior to him leaving. Around 21. Okay. So when did you leave? When did you leave? See what I'm saying? Child. Anyway. Then he said they had been talking 5 years prior. So then 5 years would be right before. Right? Do you remember? See, I feel like he's finagling the timeline because if he finagles the timeline, it just tries to imply that Miss Trisha and Mr. Kim were over here disrespecting the marriage, that he didn't even be in love with the lady for and was emotionally unavailable for. He's sliding the timeline around trying to make Trisha look bad. We see you. That ain't gonna work. Like, when was it? I didn't think you start realizing things until after COVID. I don't know. You ain't supposed to say that. Sometimes I say stuff. I just have to speak like, how real life is. Can't be walking around here trying to remember it's the big C and all of that. You know what I mean. Anyway. He said his whole gripe is slides just as much as this timeline does. Now, his gripe is that Ken is living in the house. And they said Ken been living in the house for only a year, but the relationship go back as far as when the daughter was 6. So she's 10. So that's 4 years. So he started taking your kids to school 4 years ago and taking your son, child. Marcel's sitting there like, what are you even talking about? He mad. He said his daughter tells him that a real man never leaves his family. And she doesn't believe that came from her because she's just a child. And that's not something that a child would say. And I'm like, yeah, it is, because my daughter said it. Her deadbeat ass daddy was being very absent. And so she called him out on it. And then he told her that it was my fault for not explaining it right. And she told him that he treating her like she didn't know how to think for herself. And that's probably what his daughter was thinking. She know when a man is supposed to be. She go to school every day. The other kids' daddy is probably there. And she's got Ken, who is her new daddy and has brought her a sister. And so, because Ken is that type of guy. See, he didn't leave behind the child. You hear that, Marquez? Ken did not leave behind the child from his last relationship, even though biologically she's not his. He did not abandon her. What he did was introduce her to a sister, the one that's in his current relationship. That's what the little girl said. The boy said, I just really love seeing my mother happy. She smiles when she's with him. Ken, he sounds like a terrible guy now, doesn't he? Marquez. He said he didn't leave his daughter. He left the situation. So I don't know how he weighs that out, but Marcel was like, man, when you leave the family, you leave your children, not just the wife, everybody in the house. You left them. He does not want Ken to be a father figure. Too late, because it started happening, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. You keep making up new numbers, but at some point, Ken done wooed your woman away that you were ignoring and weren't in love with in the first place, and realized that you didn't want the situation, so you wanted to go to Atlanta. And the reason why you went is for several different, because you named a couple. Apparently one of them is because you realized that ain't what you wanted, because you were with this woman who you wasn't in love with, who also had a man who was being active in your kid's life. You sound like a child. You don't want him to be a father figure. Too late. He been doing it. 4 years is a long time. Your son went from homecoming to damn near grown. He's sitting up there listing all the things. I want this, and I want. Oh, nobody gives a shit what you want, Marquez. You gave that up. You left it behind. What about what the kids want? What the kids want apparently is a sister and a happy mother, and that's what Mr. Muscle Chocolate Ken is over there providing for the folks. Miss Trisha. Marcel was like, so if your daughter has a bad day at school and she comes home crying, you would like for Ken to do what? This fool say, call your daddy. Marcel's like, that's what you want? Well, no. What I want is to give a shit what you want, you dumbass. Marcel was wearing that ass out. I was enjoying every minute of it. Marcel said, what you need to do is have a conversation with this man, and the first thing that need to come out your mouth is thank you. Thank you for picking up where I fell short and let me. No, I don't want to do that. That's what you need to do. Marcel's like, I'm guessing he over there paying bills. I don't know what he doing. He was like paying bills over there at that house where they live in. Have he done anything? Have you bought anything for your children? Well, yeah. He took them out of the country, bought my son a car. Bought your son a car? Why you didn't buy your son a car? You knew how old he was going to be. I feel like when you step out and leave the family behind, you're supposed to come through with gifts, at least, Marquez. That's what most normal deadbeat dads do. What the hell's happening? I did not ask for the installation of anything. Bought your son a car, child. He's like, I mean, what was he? He didn't have no choice. That's what he said. He didn't have a choice. And Marceau says, yeah, he did have a choice. He could have left like you did. But he did not. He stayed. Of course he stayed. He didn't have no choice. He's what did he say? He worships the ground. He ain't going nowhere. He worships the ground Tris rocks on. And Marcel's like, yeah, you didn't. Somebody was gonna do it. Have you seen her IGs lately, child? I don't know. This clown is blaming everything up under the sun. We don't know so much. Did he talk about what his son said? Because his son probably ain't saying nothing, because that's how boys are. His daughter, though, is expressing her feelings because that's what women do. I bet your son looking at you funny, though. I bet that. And your kids' feelings is not based on what somebody told them. They're based on what you did, which is left. Marcel is in his confessional making some weird ass comparison to Martell and Marquise, and I don't know why he's just took an opportunity to take a shot at Mel. It's kind of stupid. Leave them out of it. The production and the people did that. They asked him a question. They asked him that dumbass question, and he was ready to jump on, because it's, attack Mel in the melon meters this season. So we're going to squeeze her in here some type of way, somehow. One thing I can say, Marquez, the people said Martell be picking his kids up from school and going to dance recitals and things. Like, he's the lowest of the low, but he do be at football games and things, Marquez. I'm just saying. I don't think, like I said, Marceau gave him what he was looking for. He came there expecting old Marceau, and he got this new reality TV Marceau, and so he left out of there looking a fool. Now he got to go make some time to have this conversation with Ken. That I don't know why. I don't know why. Ken he in place. He's locked solid. We just need you to sign this paperwork. so Trisha can lead him on for the next 4 years and pretend like she's gonna marry his ass. Nell goes over to Mel's house to visit. They have a little conversation about therapy, and she telling her about what she's feeling with the kids and things. And Mel basically told her, like, it's a generational thing, girl. You do be popping off, and you probably could use a little therapy. We can all use a little therapy, especially when life is stressing us out. So don't knock it. And so now we get to go have this, visit with Dr. Francis. We like Dr. Francis, and he came over to help the Fletcher family, figure things out. Like I said, they're having two different conversations. Mel be fussing and things, and the kids don't like it, but it sounds to me like y'all just want her to shut up and give you the money that you asked for. And if you ask Nell for some money, you're gonna have to hear the whole bust down about how she told you not to do that shit in the first place. And if you had a listen to what she told you to do, then you wouldn't be in this position of having to ask her for some money again. Miss Nell needing therapy? Probably she should have some one-on-one therapy, just her and Dr. Francis, so she could figure out why she popping the hell off. Just calm down a little. I feel like her pop off is not with just the kids, because the people said she got a little reputation out there for being feisty. And when I say the people, I mean Tisha and some other folks. It is what it is. I don't know what's going on with the Flushers. It seems like they need their own show, or maybe working on their own show. It's a possibility. Chris did an interview with Dustin, and he broke it down like these kids be asking for like lots of money. They're not asking for $300, $400 here and there. They asking for thousands, 75, 20,000, and we ain't even got into the legal fees that young Chris Fletcher has cost them. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of money. So it seems like she has reason to be popping off, especially young Chris, who you're not really finna like just let your child be in jail if you have the means to pay lawyers and things. And so all her money is going to paying lawyers. And he over there fussing about how somebody took his dogs and things. Little Chris. Got your mama worked up. Lance has a lot to say. You just be wanting to listen for you can rebuttal. Yes, that's what she gonna do. When you say, hey, mom, can I get $7,500? She gonna go all the way down the line of all the things and reasons why she told you not to do what you did. Lance, do you have a wife? She said grandchildren. There's two of them. Now, do you have wife, baby mamas? Like, what's going on with that over there? I'm just curious. Maybe if they get a spinoff, we'll see. Bring all the baby mamas. That's where the drama comes from. They hug it out. It is what it is. Like I said, as a parent, it's hard not to spoil your kids when you don't have no money. That's why people be all depressed around Christmas time, trying to get toys for them kids that they can't afford. So, more money, more problems. They got more money. These kids grew up comfortably. No, just tell Chris, ask your daddy. That's your friend. Let that be your piece. Ask your daddy. And when Chris comes to you, I don't want to hear it. They came to you to find a solution. Y'all work it out without me. I'm going to get my nails done. Me and Mel are finna go have some orange lemon cocktails. So, I don't know what we're doing over there. Trish and Marquez have a little get together, and I would say Trish came with her big girl voice. She wasn't very shaky at all when she had this conversation with Marquez. Now, she did do this thing, like where she sits there and, shrinks her neck all up in her shoulders. Girl, relax. Stressing me out. He sat his funky ass down talking about he don't have no respect for Ken. So, we don't have no respect for you. So, what is this supposed to be? We don't care what you have respect for. We don't even know you. We know the day we met you, you came over here sounding a straight fool. So we're done with you. Going back into ATL. We don't need it. He making excuses for, I don't know, child. He told the lady he didn't like how this man was stepping into the kid's life and how they didn't have no conversation. And he feels like that they need to have a conversation minus the testosterone. What do Ken have to say to you? What is he supposed to say at this point? I feel like the conversation should be had with your children. Tell your children you're sorry. Figure out a schedule. Talk to Martell. Martell knows about a schedule because the judge has required him to be scheduling his visits and things. So talk to him. Talk to your kids. Say you're sorry. Talk to Ken. Say thank you. Say we gonna, put all this nonsense aside and figure out how to make a schedule. Nobody needs to be having any conversation with you, Marquez, for real, for real. At this point, what we gonna do? We're not gonna pay for the kids' college education because you want this girl to come over here and pay for half of the friggin' paperwork, filing paperwork. It's $400. Ask Ken for it. I feel like Ken would be happy to give you $400 to go away. I bet you wouldn't have no problems with him then. Oh, Ken paid for my divorce. He's a good guy. Trish, what are you pissed off for? He asked me for half the money. I'm pissed off. Why? You were half the couple. Just go pay the money. Give the man $200. Poor thing. How did you get here, honey, on Greyhound? It's not a long ride from Atlanta to Huntsville on a Greyhound. Did you have to borrow your son's car to ride around over here to meet up with Trish, child? That's how the episode ended. All I can say is, yeah, shout out to Marcel for entertaining us this week. Next week, Sonny is telling Courtney how Martell said Trisha came over to his house. And Courtney said, I did not know about that part. And Trisha's like, why is he going around telling people that I came to his house? And Destiny's like, why he's saying you came to his house if it's not true? She's like, I don't know. That thing she does. That's what I said. I don't know where he got that from. We got it from you, girl. You the one said you went to his house.
But I did. I went to his house for training once, and was discussed training and all that. But I was like, dude, I think I don't know why. It's just so weird. I was like, I don't know why, because nothing happened.
Girl, when would you go into his house? Was it 3 years, 4 years before the big C? After sometimes when this nigga Marquez went to Atlanta, when did you decide that you was gonna go train over? You said you didn't train men. I don't train men, but you was gonna go over to Martell's house, whose house you said you didn't go over to, but then you said you did go over to. That's what I'm talking about. People be lying and they don't remember what they said. Ken, you're a good guy. This girl be keeping secrets. Like Marquez is Marquez, but Trish is Trish. She be doing things that seemingly are a little shady and secretive, y'all. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. We're going to go ahead next week and watch her go around town lying and saying she ain't been to Martell's house when she has. Bye, y'all.